Okay, well, guys, welcome to the channel of TCP/IP. Today, we are going to discuss about some topics, and the topic named as TCP/IP model. So, in this TCP/IP model, we are going to discuss about the general characteristics, the purpose, how it works, the architecture, the functions performed by each layers, and their advantages and the disadvantages. So, let's start with the general characteristics. So, TCP/IP model is what one of the communication model built by some agencies like ARPANET, DoD, and DARPA. Yeah, they have started their journey from 1960 and they have completed their work in 1970. Okay, so whereas in OSI model is developed by ISO, this is what the journey started by few agencies in the US and Russian agencies. The biggest benefit of TCP/IP model is that it helps you to establish a setup connection between different types of computers. So it means what if we have a different type of hardware platforms available, software platforms are available, but that time also it is going to be useful on the different kind of computers. The full form of TCP/IP is a transmission control protocol and internet protocol. It supports for flexible architectures. It is more there is a decentralized network we can say. So one can have another vendor, another computer can have another vendors, but they're still in the position to communicate with each others only because of this standard communication model. Adding more system to network is very easy. TCP/IP in the network remains together until the source and destination machines were functional properly. So our purpose is to get the messages from the source to destination. For that matter, the TCP/IP network remains together or present while the active communication happens between the source and communication. TCP allow us to implement the flow control, so the sender never overpowers the receiver's data. This is what if the data rate of the source and destination is going to be very dilute in nature. So if the data rate of source is higher and the data rate is of receiver is low, or vice versa, that time it is going to be very useful. They have the different protocol. The TCP/IP model was developed prior to the OSI model because they have what we can say uh, imbibed the ideas of the OSI model and they have started developing. So instead of having the paperwork, the TCP/IP model have directly started the implementation part. Okay, that's why the TCP/IP model is more powerful than the OSI model. Whereas the OSI model is only a reference model. They have more focused on the documentation rather than the implementation, like government kind of things, or let's say any who is developing something, they are busy to develop some documents rather than the implementation part. TCP model is not exactly similar to the TCP model. There are lots of changes are available. A TCP is a hierarchical protocol made up of interactive modules, and each of them provide a specific functionality. So every protocol they have different functions of in TCP/IP. So then, what is the purpose of TCP/IP? So if we go with the purpose of TCP/IP, so there are a lot of purposes of TCP/IP. We'll start one by one. Let's say user need not to bother how the content will send to receiver from sender or sender to receiver. So either sender or receiver, how it is going to be sent, the user, common user need not to bother the things. Automatically with the help of protocol and with the help of structure, it is all the contents are going to be sent from this to this. This is what, let's say this is sender and this is what the receiver. The user need not to bother. Second will be dynamic routing because the network changes randomly and there are multiple routes are available. How to select the best route? So this is depend upon the protocols and the end node verification, whether sender is sending the message to the receiver, whether the receiver is receiver or not. So it is end node verification. These are the main points also. Apart from this, there are lots of network issues like addressing because there are so many kind of addressing, and what we are discussing in network level IP address. IP address is most what logical address, which is unique. We need to find. There are we have ARP and RRP protocols that which helps to addressing purpose and the networking there also. Routing is also main function. So for the routing purpose, TCP/IP model is going to be used. Name resolutions. So in the what we can say this such a big size of the network and many of the numbers cannot be recalled by some users, so it is going to be have a name, let's say google.com. And we don't know what, we need not to bother about what is the IP address of Google. So there is a one protocol, DNS protocol, and the DNS protocol helps us to name resolution, flow control and inter control, and interoperability. These are the network issue. In order to solve this network issue, the TCP/IP model also help us to carry out these activities with the help of the different protocols and the mechanism available. Then let's talk about the model. So the model is nothing but what we can say there are a layered approach as like OSI model. So if you go with the OSI model, there are 7 layers. There are 7 layers: application, presentation, session, transport, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. But here the TCP/IP model has reduced some layer because in the OSI model there was the redundant functionality in the between the layers. Let's say in application, presentation, session, there is only application layer because maximum functions of these 3 layers were duplicated. So they have decided to have only one application layer where plenty of application can be possible, like email, Skype, or any users can try any application. There are some protocols: HTTP, FTP, TFTP, and Telnet, and ping, etc., etc. Then second will be a transport layer, which is the heart of this TCP/IP model. TCP/IP model, where TCP and UDP, these are the protocol are going to be used over here. Then third is what the internet or network layer, commonly, where there are plenty of protocols like IP, ARPs, RARP, ICMP, IGMP. We are going to discuss this protocols separate in lectures. And this last one is what network interface, which is a combination of data link layer and a physical layer. So this is the generally model where, let's say, if here is a source and if there is a destination, or let's say destination or receiver, or vice versa. So it is going to be used on the by every computers to for the communication, because every computer must have a presence of all these TCP/IP model so that they can connect it to the internet and they can avail the services from the ISP or service providers. If you talked about, let's say, functions of each layer, so there are 4 layers we can say. Many of books, they have given the 5 layers. The last layer, that is data link layer, and the physical layer are separated. But in some book that is given, it is only combination. But the functions played by every layer is going to be a very as good as the OSI model layer. Okay, so let's start with the application layer. In application layer, we can say a common user can sit on the computer and in front of the computer and can use the different kind of applications. So how it is going to be get communicated to the receiver? So it is going to be made only because of the application. So application layer helps to identify communication partners. This is what the destination. Determine the resource availability and synchronizing communication. So if they wants to interact with someone other else, so for that purpose, application layer is going to be used. It allows users to log on to the remote host via different application. Like we have remote login is there, SSH is there, and then PuTTY is there. Lots of applications are available. So this application offers distributed database source and the access of the global information about various objects and the services. If we want to, let's say, log into the Google, let's say we want to go to the railway site, or we want to go to any contact with any server. So there are different applications. Through that application can be desktop application, that application can be any mobile application, etc., etc. An application like, let's say, Skype, Gmail, Facebook, etc. So how it is going to be supported? It is going to be supported with the help of different protocols, like these protocols: file transfer protocol, TFTP, HTTP, SNMP, SMTP protocol. These protocols are available at the application layer, so that we only need to fire any query on the browser, so that the content will be appear in front of us with the hidden mechanisms. So this is what the functions. Apart from this function, the OSI model, what are the functions are provided, the connection and etc., etc. These all the functions are going to be available over here also. Then talked about the second, that is what the transport layer, which is a host to host layer, or we can say the process to process communication. If any process of the single computers want to communicate with the another computer single process, let's say Facebook to Facebook, Gmail to Gmail, chatting to chatting, arranged in that concept, the transport layer is going to be used, where the port number is going to be used, because every application is going to be identified on the basis of that port number, because on the one computer there will be a lots of applications are running. Okay, so for that purpose, transport layer is going to be used. It divides the message received from the session layer into the segment. So data unit is what the segment, and numbers them to make the sequence. So here there is a segmentation part is available, where every segment gets the number, so that the synchronization and the reachability, or let's say we can say the identification of every segment, is going to be done. Transport layer makes sure that the message is delivered to the correct process on which the destination machine. Okay, as I told you that there is a port number, and which is about 16 bit inside to the power 16, which is more than the 65 ounce numbers are there. So that number of application can be running on the system. Okay, and it guaranteed that the application to application communication is going to happen in effective only with the help of this kind of port addresses. Okay, uh, we have a separate video on the port addresses. Please do watch and more details. It also makes sure that the entire message arrived without any error, else it should be retransmitted. So there is a availability of retransmission mechanism. If there is any error occur, so this is going to be retransmitted again to the receiver. There are two main protocols are available. The first protocol is what TCP/IP. TCP/IP is a connection-oriented protocol. Is used for the non-real-time applications. Okay, so it means what? Like let's say email as application. Let's say if we say drop one email and send on to the sender, so it is need not to be present at the same time. So it is kind of asynchronous kind of things. So that email can be seen by a later on, etc., etc. And the retransmission is also possible. But if you talk about the UDP protocol, it is a connection-less protocol, and it is what the real-time application is going to be used for the real time, and it is going to be used for the non-real time. Okay, like here real-time calling is there, video call is there, voice call is there. So on the basis of these two protocol, TCP/IP model have developed, and it is functioning very well in this era of what we can say the gigant era of computer network and the TCP/IP, specifically internet. So TCP/IP and UDP protocols are very backbone protocols of this TCP/IP model. Okay, they have lots of functions like this because nowadays every streaming live programs are available. So it is going to be supported by this as a protocol. That protocols are TCP/IP and UDP. Let's talk about the internet layer. Internet layer, or let's say the network layer, we can say the internet layer is also known as the network layer. The main responsibility of the internet layer is to send the packets from any network and then arrive at the destination irrespective of the route they have. The main function is to get the guarantee of the packet delivery or datagram delivery from the source to destination with the help of specific mechanism. So this is what the main function we can say. Once the data is segmented by the TCP or UDP by the adding corresponding header into the data packets, which is what the upper layer, it will send down to the lower layer and the further communication. So internet layer receives the messages from the transport layer and it passes to the lower layer. Okay, the destination host on which the data packet is there, destination may reside in some other networks whose path may be reached by going through various paths or routes. It is the duty of internet layer to assign the logical address and the route to the packets efficiently to the destination network. So the meaning of this sentence is what? Here in a network layer, what we can say there, in order to identify the computer uniquely across the globe, we have logical address, and there are multiple paths are available. Out of multiple paths, which route to be followed, that is going to be decided by the internet layer. So there are routing mechanisms, static routing, dynamic routings are available. On the basis of that protocol, it is going to be happen automatically. Okay. The network layer is the most popular protocol. IP is the most IP protocol. The internet protocol is the most popular protocol used to perform this task. There are few main another functions. Let's say quick functions: IP addressing, routing protocols, multicast group management, and network address assignment. So these are what the more functions are available to this network internet layer. So this also the what we can say nowadays internet layer is very booming because we have IP, ARP, RARP. These are the protocols. ICMP, IGMP protocols are available for guaranteed the delivery of any packets from the source to destination. Then there is a last layer, that is what network access layer. In this network access layer, what we can say the network layer is the lowest layer of the TCP model. In the network layer is the combination. This layer is a combination of physical layer and the data link layer. As we discussed in the model itself, this is a combination of this physical layer and the data link layer of the OSI model. Hence, it characterize the protocols, hardware, and the media to be used for the communication. So whatever the physical kind of stuff is going to be done with the computers, so it is closely related with that stuffs. It defines how the data should be sent physically through the network. So as we know, the unit of the data link layer and the physical layer is what the frames and the bits. So it is going to be guaranteed that by this layer only. This layer is mainly responsible for transmission of the data between two devices on the same network. So this point is very important because the physical and data link layer, generally what we have a devices like a switches and hub, and they are connected to the local computers in the local networks. So there is a guarantee to, with the help of this layer only, they can communicate with each others. Okay. The functions carried out by this layer is encapsulating the IP datagram into frames. So this is what the unit of the data link layer, that is what the frame, and transmitted by the network and mapping of IP address into the physical address. So this is going to be done again with the help of the ARP protocol and RIP protocol, vice versa. The protocol used by this layer, like Ethernet, token ring, FDDI, X25 frame relay. These are what we can say the encapsulation protocols specifically for this purpose. Data packets, uh, Data packets from the internet layer are passes to this layer for sending it to destination over the physical media. So there are lots of physical medias available. Coaxial cable is there, fiber optic cable is there, twisted pair cable is there. So with this media, the contents are going to be transferred from the upper layer to lower layer. The point-to-point protocol is the protocol that is used to make the point-to-point link over the lease lines. This is what another protocol is going to be used over here. It is also developed to provide the connectivity between the end users and the internet services providers via modem. So this is what the device where the modulation and demodulation done. Okay, at the physical level, this is going to be a physical layer is going to be used, and data link layer is going to be used. Okay, this also supports for provisioning and the IP address over the PPE, that is point-to-point protocol links. Most of the end users prefer an Ethernet links that works only on the Ethernet data link protocol. So moreover, we can say about the network layer. Network layer is what the kind of layer which is combination of this physical and data link layer. So all the functionalities of the network, physical and the data link layer is going to be provided by this in the network access layer in this TCP/IP model, where it is closely related with the hardware itself. Okay, like device, hub, switch, etc. So let's talk about the advantages. There are plenty of advantages available of the TCP/IP model. So let's start with the one by one. It helps you to establish and set up the connection between the different types of computers, and it enables the internet working between the organization. So it is going to be a kind of mediator in between these two parties, we can say. So that they can communicate with each other. It is interoperable, that is it allowed for cross platforms communication among the heterogeneous network. Doesn't matter if the any computer is using Intel platform, any computer using the Motorola platform, but still they can communicate with each other because there is a common platform. That platform is what the TCP/IP communication model through which it is going to be possible. It operates independently on the operating system. It is software independent. What we can say, software independent, doesn't matter that there is a Mac is there, Windows is there, Linux is there. It is also possible to communicate. It supports many routing protocols as like static routing, dynamic routing, RIP protocol, RIP protocol, OSPF protocol, BGP protocol, EIGR protocol. These are kind of protocols are going to be supported. It is scalable one. Client server. This is client server architecture. This allow network to be added without disturbing the current services. If anybody is want to scale their networks by adding some few extra nodes, it is going to be supported one. The service is not going to be disturbed. It is an industry standard model that can be effectively deployed in the practical networking problems. So again, this is going to be very much useful for the industry oriented purpose where the actual crux and practicals are going to be done. It is an open protocol suite. It not allowed owned by any particular institute, so that can be used by any individuals or organization. So there is no any single owner. Okay, so as we mentioned in earlier that the DARPA, DoD, and the ARPANETs have developed, but someone have funded, someone have published, someone have developed. So it is going to be a kind of public network. One can use, anyone can use, or any organization can use for that purpose. Okay, we need not to pay extra for this purpose. It assigns an IP address to each computer on the network, thus making each device to be identified over the network. So IP address is what the unique across the world. So it is going to be identify that computer when it is connected to the internet. It assigns each site as a domain name. Okay, and it provides the name and the address resolution service. By using DNS protocol, it is going to be happening. So all the functionalities are going to be available. So these are the few advantages of TCP/IP. So let's talk about some disadvantages of the TCP/IP. If we talk about the disadvantages, we can found that TCP/IP is a complicated model to set up and manage. Okay, it is a implemented protocol. It is not separated layers. So we'll discuss later on. This is what the first one. It shallow an overhead the TCP/IP in higher than the IPX, that is Internet Working Packet Exchange. In this model, the transport layer does not guarantee delivery of packets. So transport layer does not guarantee a delivery packet, because in transport layer what we are using the UDP protocol. UDP protocol is what the connection less protocol, where there is no guarantee of packets. But still we are believing that UDP protocol, and that's why, because we are getting very much speed for it. Okay, replacing a protocol in the TCP/IP is not easy, because it is developed after everything. So let's say what we can say, the it is not going to be very easy to add new protocol in this particular protocol suite. It has no clear separation from the services, interface, and the protocol. As the OSI model has separated these services, protocol, and interfaces, but in TCP/IP it is not going to be separated. It is not generic in nature, so it falls to represent any protocol stack other than the TCP/IP suite. For example, it cannot describe the Bluetooth connections. This is what the point made to be very peculiar to this one. It does not distinguish between the data link layer and physical layers. As we mentioned, this is a combination of two layers, the network layer, which has very different functionality. The data link layer should concern with the transmission of frame. On the other hand, the physical layer is the lay down the physical characteristics of transmission. Proper model should segregate to this layer. Okay, so as we have the two layers are combined. So many of books or others saying that this layer supposed to be separated, so that physical can work at the physical level, and frames can work at the data link level. Okay, it was originally designed and implemented for the wide area network. It is not optimized for the small networks like LAN and PAN, that is personal area networks. Among its suite of the protocols, TCP and IP were carefully designed and well implemented. This is what the conclusion, whatever the drawback what we have, but among this suite of protocol, TCP, IP, and IP protocol were carefully designed and well implemented. Some of the other protocols were developed ad hoc, and so proven to the unsuitable in the long run. However, due to the popularity of the model, this protocol are being used over 30 to 40 years after this introduction. So nearly in 1960, they have started. In 1970, they have closed this implementation. And from this also, for 30 to 40 years, what we are using the TCP/IP model. So this is all about the TCP/IP model, where we have discussed what is TCP/IP, what are the purpose of TCP/IP, etc., etc. This is what the common platform. The last word of this TCP/IP. Whatever the issues raised in the network in internet, all the issues are going to be resolved over here, and this is going to be a very backbone of communication, where every heterogeneous platform can communicate with their receivers and their senders. No issues that. Hope, guys.